Solar integrated roofing starting 2022 with lots of new goals. So with us to explain is Pablo Diaz, the president, and Troy Cylmer, the COO. And I know you've so smart brought your new deck here so we could share it with us. So I'm just going to let you guys go and I'll interject some questions, but tell me what are you looking forward to this year?
Jane, Happy New Year, first off. And I wish we were there with you in the studio, having a little bit of winter in the Midwest. Pablo's in warm weather, but we've got some real exciting news. I'm going to let Pablo take the lead and pop us through it. We just had our best quarter ever. And we want to talk to you about some of those highlights and some of the other exciting things going on culturally and with our people and growth.
Yeah, it's actually been it's a super dynamic last quarter. And really, Jane, if you think back about 6 months ago, we had met and we had discussed about all the objectives that we were trying to fulfill. And we really put, the metal to the grind and worked hard and drove discipline throughout the ranks and really focused on processes and procedures and efficiency. And our numbers are now, they're projected into a reality. So our proof is in our pudding, pardon me. And just a quick corporate overview. We had our biggest revenue quarter to date historically at $48 million, net income at $18 million. Our balance sheet's looking real strong with $132 million in assets and $62 million in liabilities. I mean, we've really grown and continue to grow.
Yeah, well, I know that balance sheet thing was something you were really trying to target. So it sounds like you're making a lot of progress there.
Yeah, it's been definitely a pointed effort, and really, as we see these future acquisitions that we're going to be discussing, we're expecting this balance sheet to double within a short range of time.
Mm-hmm. And what do you attribute that to?
So definitely the acquisitions that we brought on in the last year have added really, we had 75% of our revenue was from our new acquisitions, but it's also a lot of the centralized services that we put into effect, and Troy's been a guiding force there. We centralized our treasury, we centralized our accounting, our HR, our technology, and our finance division, and in the middle of centralizing our procurement. All of those added to margins and increased that, which allowed our origination centers, which are our brands, to focus on production, and the system is working.
Mm-hmm. And then I just feel like, the solar industry has gotten so much attention. It's got government support. Consumers love it. I mean, are you seeing that? Is there as much of a wind in your back as what it seems like to the average consumer?
Yeah. It genuinely is. We're in a paradigm right now where we're transitioning from fossil fuels to alternative energy, and there isn't a more subsidized market. But for that matter, the capital markets have really got behind this push. So there's a lot of money moving, and if you have the proper infrastructure in place and all the moving pieces are accurately working together. I mean, literally, we just inked a deal with our our EV charging company, Plemco, for a golf course yesterday, and that golf course is associated with another 200 golf courses. So it's almost like a positive virus. It just spreads on itself, and each business brings the other business more business. The golf course is an example. Well, great, they wanted EV charging units, but while they were at it, they were talking about solar, and we have that solution there too. So our cross-pollination that we've been talking about with you for months and months is taking a real root and then driving a lot of revenues.
It's really beautiful, Jane. And what's interesting is they also need roofing, right? And this is as Pablo mentioned, we're seeing this across the board. We have some wonderful new leaders in place, new CEO at Plemco, excellent gentleman named Brad Reinhardt that Pablo sourced. We've got a new CEO in place at Milholland Electric. And what we're seeing is these individuals are bringing their relationships to bear and their skill sets. And as our leadership team is rounding out now, Pablo has been able to add a new director of human resources who just started with us this week. We've got a new national director of procurement. And those additions with Wanda Witoslawski, our CFO, and Pablo and me and our incredible visionary leader, David Massey, you're starting to see our corporate team really gel. Yeah. We added some folks to our integrations node as we're integrating these companies, and we're looking at several new acquisitions coming down the pike here in the next few months as well. So we continue to grow.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it feels like to me, and I've interviewed Dave a few times over the past few years, and it feels like to me, you've really gotten scale over the past year of the whole renewable energy space. So it was like roofing but now electric vehicles, and with the acquisitions, like it feels like a really well-rounded company at this point.
Absolutely. If you could go to slide 3, Troy, I'd like to show Jane this, just our pardon me. That's the number 5, maybe. Number 5. No. Okay.
We can edit all this out.
Yeah, there we go. Our nationwide alternative energy. We've been trying to find our core identity and really what that is, and we've come to this evolution. We're a nationwide alternative energy development firm, and through our M&A strategies, our 14 different brands, they are our origination centers. They bring our production because of the centralized nodes that we cover for them. It allows them to focus on our growth, and really by focusing on the material supply, the capital, the customer creation is with our brands. Allows us the scale that you're discussing right now. We can never, because we outsource so much of our construction right now that it allows us to scale. We can never outgrow ourselves. It's a scalable model.
Mm-hmm. So the EV, the charging network, so that appears like an area that's really starting to grow for you. Is that correct?
Definitely. Really, when we sat down and changed leadership there, we put together a new business plan, new performance, KPI driven. One of the things also that we've been implementing across the entire subsidiary units is these goal-oriented milestones, and we keep hitting our targets, and we're feeding off each other. And because, I think we met about 4 months ago, and we had shared with you that we were going through a consolidation period. We had stopped acquisitions so we could incorporate all of these strategies that we're sharing now. And so they're working. We're going to continue to scale. And now we're back in acquisition mode. We have 7 targets that we've been working on for several months. And we have the capital in place with our merchant bank equity institutional partner, Arbiter Bank. They're all in on SIRC, and they're ready to fund more acquisitions. They want that. That's really what they're pushing us for, and we're ready for it.
Yeah. And Troy, any thoughts on the infrastructure bill and what that may have in it for SIRC?
It has an awful lot of potential for us, and I will say that we know how good it's going to be because we're starting to see lobby pushback at certain state levels preemptively ahead of the bill. So we're keeping a close eye on what's going on with the NEM initiative in California, with some of the preemptive lobby from utility companies in the state of Florida. We're mobilizing our lobby resources, and we anticipate that we're going to have even more tailwind because of the infrastructure bill. And what we're seeing is states getting out in front of it to try to counter that, which is exciting for us. That's opportunity. When Pablo and I look at our SWOT analysis, one thing we like to do when we design our SWOTs and devise our KPI for our different models is start with the opportunities instead of the strengths. And as we reverse engineer into our strengths, as Pablo's talking, I'm recalling the dialogue we had when we were with you in the studio in November. And here we are, just out from under a $48 million quarter, $18 million of net profit, looking at 7 more acquisitions, institutional funding. We're anticipating the finalization of our OTC QB uplist here in the next few weeks. We've been working through that. So we have all these positive things. Couple that with the growth of our people and culture. Synergy is very important. I'd like to point out, Pablo and I have been on deck working together maybe 4 months now. add Wanda in there, and we're just now starting to see this team come together. Fast forward a year from now, when we really have these synergies. Pablo's worked so hard with our integrations team to put together centralized shared services from a central finance, central procurement, central revenue, administrative support, and it's all focused around mobilizing our revenue centers and our subsidiaries to focus on selling and driving revenue and getting support from our corporate shared services. And it's been wonderful to see this leadership team come together. I've got us on our financial overview slide right now, and Pablo can talk through this a little bit, but I'll be excited to come on a year from now and see the progress that we've made compared to the progress we've made just in the last 6 months since we've been working and going through it with you.
Yeah. Pablo, you want to elaborate on the numbers, Pablo?
Well, I wanted to focus on one little section, maybe a little forward-looking analysis. And this slide deck will be available on our website. If you look right there on slide 16 that you're at, right, our PPA forward-looking projects that we're going to be putting together, we're actively working and almost at the point where we're going to go live with our $100 million PPA commercial fund. And specifically, we're going to be the lender now. So we're really, our business strategy and model is going to be to focus on origination and lending. Historically, those have
froze.
As Pablo would say, the money's in the money. And so this is very important. I'll pick up right where he left off until his audio comes back. We've worked very hard to structure capital and central shared services so we can provide our own finance solutions. And this has been incredibly important to see it come together. And it's a cross-pollination synergy between USA Solar Networks and Balance. And we're able to staff this with people. And I'm going to encourage Pablo to come back in here. That is, I know his feeds are covering, and talk about it. He's been a huge part in putting this together. And what we've got is a central shared services center that's working with all of our finance and lending partners to structure the capital through PPA funds and different vehicles, not just for solar and roofing and EV, but some of our large marquee projects as well that we have going on that are combined green energy solutions, bringing together all of these things. Pablo, are you back with us?
Yeah, I'm here. And what that ultimately translates into is 25-year assets, notes that are paying us, electricity payment for 5 years with default rates of less than 1%. I mean, it's talk about increasing our balance sheet. One slide that I did want to share, and if anybody's looking for a buy opportunity right now, the data is the data. Right now, we are at a 2.5 times multiplier for our revenue streams in comparison to our competition. We're super undervalued. I mean, on average, you have an 11.3 multiplier, and we're at 2.5. So we're a buy opportunity. We know the markets are going to catch up. As soon as we hit that QB, we expect a large volume of institutional investors that have already been speaking with us to hit our marketplace and double up our share. So everybody, this opportunity won't last for long.
Okay, so let's finish up, Troy, because I think we're still having some issue with Pablo's. Just kind of wrap up the goals for 2022. Like you've mentioned them, acquisitions, things like that. I mean, could you give us kind of a wrap up of what you're looking forward to this year? Absolutely.
What we're looking forward to is continued growth in all of our business sectors, roofing services, EV, solar. As you look at our growth trajectory, we're looking to continue to complete audits and become fully reporting and uplift to OTCQX by March. So we've changed our goal of just getting to QB, and now we're interested in uplisting to QX as soon as possible. And then as we've discussed with you, our planned NASDAQ uplisting shortly thereafter. So as we're realizing these synergies across our acquired companies and looking at future acquisitions that drive our multiple in our green energy agenda, we're seeing that we've got a world-class team And we're attracting very large marquee projects in addition to our core business. And as we're structuring our own capital right now, what we want to do is really drive our shareholder value up. We're engaging our shareholders very closely. And as we finalize our year-over-year audited financials, when we met last time in November, we had just completed our audit. So now we're auditing again as we uplist to QB with the intent of uplisting to OTCQX as fast as possible. And that'll be a significant milestone for us. And then it'll be a race to see how fast we can get to NASDAQ.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can't wait to get you back there and watch you ring the opening bell with the day you go public. So
that'll be in Pablo and Dave's hands. I'll be behind the scenes.
We'll all be there together.
That'd be great. Thank you so much, Pablo and Troy. Great to see you. Next time we'll see you in the studio.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you for your time.